miraculous, marvelous, excellent human nature. The blessings of all the prophets from Adam to Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon them all. The blessings of those followers and believers who followed those prophets, gave their lives, the treasure. The blessings of those people who touched our life, who brought us to the deen or instrumental in bringing us to the deen of our Islam, who were good role models, who lived the deen, and who touched us in a very special way that kept us moving forward. These are all the blessings Allah has given to each and every one of us continuously, the seen and the unseen. We're most grateful for the opportunity to share with you this beautiful Jummah day at the invitation of our beloved brother, Imam Sulaiman Salam. It's my dear brother. We have a very crazy schedule these days. He called and asked me, no problem, but anything for you, no problem. No matter what I ask will be me, because he does the same for me. Bless his heart. And it's always a pleasure and an honor to be with all of you in my second home, Kansas City. I'm really from Chicago. I lived in Peoria for 30 years, alhamdulillah, and I consider this my second home because of the beautiful spirit of the believers here. It's always a blessing to come and be with the believers here with your wonderful spirit and your hard work and your accomplishments, continuous over time. So we thank Allah for all of you as well. Today we're going to be talking about Ramadan and celebrating the revelation of the Quran and the excellence of our human nature. And 5 ideas that come out of that. 5 ideas. We're going to start, as was the tradition of our prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, words from the Quran and a commentary, inshallah, that we hope is reflective of those words. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم صيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Translated. يا أيها الذين آمنوا, O you who have accepted faith. كتب عليكم صيام, prescribed on you is the siyam, or the fasting. كما كتب على, as it was with those, on those, الذين من قبلكم, before you, لعلكم تتقون, that you may come into this concept of haqq. You may come into God consciousness, or greater consciousness of your duty to Allah. These are words from the Quran. And so we say this is a very, very special month. And we're going to talk about these 5 ideas. The first one is, why do we do what we do? Why do we go out? The prophet said, begin the fast when you sight the moon and end it when you sight the moon. And we have this beautiful, beautiful ritual, but it has a depth of meaning. In Islam, the day begins with the night. We start after Maghrib, and that begins the next day. So the beginning, the night represents a beginning. And Imam W. Muhammad was very, very articulate in his phenomenal guidance he gave to us. This darkness represents our original human nature, the excellence of our original human nature. And in this darkness, we look for the first sliver of light. Now, the first light of darkness is not the sun. It's the moon. And it's the new moon. So this darkness represents the beginning, this original human excellence, and the light that comes out of that. And as a matter of fact, the Quran today, in today's reading, in Surah 7, 157, said believers, they say, seek the light, submit to the prophet, and seeking the light handed down to him. Seeking the light. So our ritual includes going out in the darkness, looking for the first light of this darkness, of this new beginning, because moon is a time marker. The Quran says the sun and the moon are markers of time. And in this time marker, we reboot the month. We know month comes from the word moon, right? Don't have to say anything, just in your mind affirm it. So our monthly time markers come from the alternation of the cycles of the moon. So Ramadan represents this reboot, this restarting for us again, seeking, going back to the origin of our excellence of our human nature and seeking this new light to guide us. So we have in our ritual sighting of the moon in the darkness. And this ayah says, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, O you in the past tense who have accepted faith. So now this is a ritual month that we go out for people who have already accepted faith. You started your faith journey. And we know this month is a real test of faith. You know, all of us have experienced one thing. When you tell people you're fasting, so folks that's not Muslim just say, I don't know if I can do that. Matter of fact, some people say, I can't do it. And sometimes I tell people, say, you're right, you can't do it. Because this is a faith journey. This is a faith expression. So you can't just do it just to be doing it for no reason or for lesser reasons. The faithful look for the month of Ramadan and embrace it. We look forward to it. Most people say, oh my God, you're going to fast for 16 hours? No food and no drink? That's almost unimaginable, particularly in the heat of summer. Last year was the longest time you ever go to fast in terms of the minutes of daylight for during the day. This year and the year before that are the two second longest periods. So it's a real challenge and a trial to fast for 16 plus hours with no food or drink except except as you have accepted faith and employed faith in your life. This idea of fasting, Allah reassures us. He says, He prescribed on you this siyam, this month of fasting, this period of fasting, because it's not new. It was an expression, it's an ancient expression of devotion to God. As a matter of fact, we got this month of Ramadan from the prophet fasting in the cave of Hira, in the darkness. So, a new beginning for the believers. Reverting and reflecting on the excellence of our original nature. This asane taqaween. This asane taqaween. And in the Quran, it's many times it's translated as excellent mode. But it really has a depth of meaning beyond that. Asani is mean, means excellent, from the word hasana, goodness or excellence. Taqweem is translated as word mold, but in reality, it implies something much bigger. It's from the word haqq, which means to rise or to aspire. And this word haqq implies that dynamism is part of the human nature. So it's not a fixed. When we say mold is something that's fixed, doesn't change. Asani taqweem, this taqweem really means aspiring formation. Part of our human nature means that unlike any other part of the creation, you have a unique quality of constant aspiration toward human excellence. Never satisfied to stay as you are. So mold is a lesser translation. It really means aspiring formation, means in your very human nature, you're always aspiring for something better, something higher. That's the original. This is the Asani Taqweem that we celebrate. So, understanding that Allah has created us in this natural form of aspiring in human excellence. And celebrating and living our faith. With it comes the next step, sacrifice. During this month, it's a sacrifice for the believer. By sacrifice, giving up food, drink, rigorous activity beyond your means sometimes. You have to govern your energy levels. You have to go. You just can't go like you normally go. You got to give up something. Giving up time, energy, food, drink, natural urges as a sacrifice to Allah. As a part of the sacrifice, sometimes comes reflection. I was with Imam Suleiman last night. He told me a story of his Ramadan chronicles. I don't know if you all know the story or not, but it had me rolling. Matter of fact, I laughed so hard I almost got sick. And only a couple of people can do that to me. Aisha does it to me, and Imam Suleiman does it to me. Had me laughing so hard I almost choked. He was doing a tape for his Ramadan chronicles. And while he was taping this beautiful message to the believers on Facebook, brother walks up, excuse me, brother, can you get a minute? Yeah, I'm doing a videotape. Excuse me, brother, excuse me. You see I'm taping, right? So he's trying to gesture and keep the tape going at the same time. And so the brother keeps at him, right? And so he's taping for Facebook, knowing that this brother is keep asking questions. And he stopped and said, brother, what is it? He said, care about 20 cents. 20 cents? What? Now you would think for something like that, it's something serious, some big emergency, some big challenge. 20 cents? Yeah, he stopped for 20 cents? Now he felt, and now only any man Suleiman could tell the story just to have you rolling. But this was a lesson out of that. Sometimes we get trials, and we don't know where they come from. That was a trial. Can you maintain your beautiful Islamic peace of the fast with unexpected crazy situations? You don't know where the crazy situation is coming from. You don't know where the distraction's coming from, but you know it's coming. And the challenge is, can you then maintain your Islamic composure and maintain the beauty of the character of your fast in unexpected situations? That's a trial and a test for you. I told you, as soon as I thought it was an angel. I was one of Allah's angels testing you. Sometimes that happens. People come from nowhere and just appear, and sometimes you get tried. So it's a month of trial and sacrifice. in your faith, you're going to be tried in ways that you can't imagine. That's the nature of the trial. If you could imagine, you could plan for it. You could, map out a contingency plan. But in the trial, sometimes it's something this the unseen reality that you can't see. And that's when your faith is tested. That's when the real sacrifice of your fast has to manifest itself. Can I maintain my composure? Just like at Hajj. Psalm and Hajj are very similar, because both are trials and tests. When you're thinking everything is just great. I'm fasting, alhamdulillah. Yeah, you're going to be trying and tested. The challenge of the sacrifice in our faith. The last point, and this one's going to take a little time. The transformation. The transformation. This month is a month that represents transformation. Personal and collective. What's the best example of that transformation? Muhammad the Prophet. Good man, respected in his community. As the trustworthy. But he wasn't a big leader, wasn't a big celebrity. He was just a good man, known for his solidness of character and moral uprightness. He goes into the cave, fasts and prays, and receives a revelation he wasn't expecting. Iqra. Ma'akru. Iqra. Ma'akru. Iqra. Ma'akru. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. He's puzzled. This revelation comes to him in a cave where he's the only one. You look around, nobody in the cave but him. And all of a sudden, his life changes. He goes from a good man, a trusted man, a solid businessman, a man that you can leave your valuables with when you leave town. Back then, during the time of the prophet, they didn't have banks. They didn't have locks on their doors either. So this is a nomadic people. They made their living by traveling in caravans over the desert. So when you leave your house and you ain't got a lock on your door, matter of fact, you might even have a door, you might just have a sheet hanging out there. Sometimes you might come back, your stuff is gone. Because everybody ain't angels. So wise people would leave their valuables with someone they could trust in the absence of a security system. So the word amina from Elamim means faith, but it also means something that's trust and security. He was a security. His faithfulness, his moral uprightness was the security they needed to leave their valuables. So he was known as this man of uprightness. So he goes into the cave for his fast. This revelation comes to him. It blows his mind. What in the world is this? He comes back home to his beloved wife, Khadijah, Lady Khadijah, and shares his experience with her, shaking. Matter of fact, he's unnerved. And she reassures him, Muhammad, you're a good man. If this happened to you, it happened for a reason. It's not a figment of your imagination. You truly are a recipient of this noble revelation. He goes into the cave, a good man. He comes out, the Rasulullah, the messenger of God, to humanity. Think about that. You about your daily, you just a normal good person. You go into a situation one way, come out, and your whole life has changed. Now you got to face persecution, oppression, harassment from the powers that be, from the status quo, because you know they're not going to stand for that. You're messing with their money. You're messing with their way of life. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with this great burden that has been placed on your back? A headache. Allah transformed him from a good man to this great man. A man who would stand for all time as the last messenger of God. And in his personal example, and because of his faith, those closest to him began to listen to the message and began to accept the faith. Everybody around that was close to him, because of his good character, automatically found, yes, Muhammad, you're a good man. So if this is coming to you, this is something special. We got to pay attention to it. And so the Quran flowed out of Muhammad the Prophet. And as the Quran flowed out of Muhammad the Prophet, he grew in stature in the society. So much so, he became a threat to the society. People around him were persecuted for their association with Muhammad. He was tested with goods and wealth if he could only change his message and go with the flow, go with the party line, the status quo. Keep everything like it is. Don't threaten what we're doing. We'll give you all that. No. He stayed true to the faith, true to this great responsibility Allah was placing on him. And because of that, slowly but surely, more and more people began to connect with him. So much so, there was a wholesale boycott of the believers and oppression, so much they began to kill and torture the early believers. You know the story. I'm just recounting the history so that we can think about the magnitude of what has happened. Asked the believers to migrate to Abyssinia for the king to protect them, because some of the early believers didn't have social status. He had a little status in the society. Some of them were slaves or people of meager means, and people took advantage of that, killed them, tortured them. So he asked those believers to protect their lives and migrate. Then it got so bad they boycotted believers. His uncle passed away, his wife passed away, almost from starvation because of the severity of the boycott. Then the people of Yathrib, or we call it today Medina, asked him to come and be a governor for them to help unite the tribes, the Christians, the Jews, and the people, the other people of Arabia that were not religiously, had a religious affiliation beyond paganism. And so when he tried to leave, they tried to kill him. Yeah, I'm trying to get out your way now. I'm trying to leave your town. I don't want to cause you no problem. Let me go. They said, no, what you guys too powerful. They tried to kill him then, and then chased him down. Trying to kill him. And by Allah's grace, he was able to escape that persecution and land in the city we call it today, Medina. And slowly but surely, this message grew. It was message. Now this messenger of Allah was asked to oversee the city of people who weren't Muslims. And because of his excellent example and the early believers that followed him in the migration, those people now were touched by the deen, were touched by the Quran, were touched by the life that was exhibited from the prophet and the followers, because they just weren't giving a message. They weren't just talking the word, they were living it. He was the Quran walking. So because of his excellent example, of the life he lived, and of the believers around him who believed in this message and lived it in their very being, more and more people began. Nah, the Mecca says, no, you are such a threat to our society, we got to come and exterminate you. So they come and fight them in Medina several times. 3 different occasions, 3 major battles. And the believers survived. And the community continues to grow. And now the word spreads throughout the wider society in the peninsula of Arabia. And more tribes connect themselves to this message. They're impressed by the valor of this small band of believers standing up sometimes 10-to-1 odds and overcoming them. And by the sincerity of faith and the moral character that's being established by the believers and by the prophet, this has to touch your heart. Now, he has 10,000 warriors. They do the final march on Mecca. Now think about this. Think about this moral character. In Islam, we have to, if someone accepts faith, when you're fighting them, if whoever they're fighting for whatever reason, and you could be in a death battle, when you're on the battlefield, it's life or death. Life or death. These are the same people that tortured some of your friends and relatives, same people that killed people close to you, same people that starved your family, same people that used to spit on the prophet, call him names. But yet, if in a battle for life or death, the same people are trying to kill you, they stop in the middle of the battle and says, I submit myself to Allah. I bet when it says no God up but Allah and Muhammad is message, you have to stop fighting and accept them as your brother. The very same brother that tried to kill you 10 seconds before, that comes from a group that tried to kill all of you. This is the power of Islam. It takes faith to do that, because your human instincts say, oh no, I got to get you back, my brother. yeah, you got to feel the wrath of what you did to my family and everybody around me. That's what's first thing that comes in your mind, but faith stops you. So now, when this community has grown and developed over time, and there are 10,000 people willing to march on Mecca as a show of force and a final victory over the disbelievers, over the keepers of the Kaaba with the pagans in it. Muhammad the Prophet comes into the city and he orders them not to harm a woman person, because the people know the Muhammad's coming. He sent word, we're going to submit this time. They see 10,000 warriors coming. They know they can't overcome them. So the leaders send word that they're going to submit. That they accept the prophet and submit to Allah. And so when they ride on Mecca, these same people that killed, tortured, battled them, life or death, they accept them as their brothers and sisters in faith. Allah gets on top of the Kaaba, gives a man while prophet and his followers clear out the Kaaba of the pagans, of the pagan idols. They wipe it out. and a whole society is transformed. So now you have a personal transformation and a society transformation from this Quran. Starting 23 years earlier with a single revelation. 23 years later, a whole society has been transformed. That is miraculous. Never in anybody's history has that happened without wholesale slaughter and conquering of people and making them submit to you. These people submitted willingly or maybe begrudgingly, but they willingly submitted and accepted the deen of Islam. And now the society was